Let's start with our first news. Nate Diaz has revealed that he recently turned down a return to the UFC for a potential trilogy fight with Conor. He explained that there were some talks with the UFC, and the discussions even went as far as meeting up and exploring the idea of an MMA comeback. Diaz said he was asked whether he considered going back, and he admitted 100% he did. He described how close the situation felt, saying things were moving in a direction where a return was seriously being discussed. According to him, the UFC had been great with him since his departure, and the relationship still felt respectful. On both sides, he went on to explain that during those conversations, the idea of a Conor fight was clearly in the background. However, he stated that what was being offered or suggested was not exactly what he wanted. Instead, he felt that the focus was heavily leaning toward building another storyline around Conor, something he was not interested in repeating. Diaz made it clear that he was not trying to come back just to serve as a comeback chapter for Conor. He emphasized that he wants fights that make sense for him personally and competitively, not just promotional narratives. He added that while the talks were real and the wheels were turning on a potential return, he ultimately was not convinced by the direction being proposed. He also suggested that while the opportunity sounded big, timing and motivation mattered, more than nostalgia, and he is focused on moving forward rather than revisiting old rivalries. He made it clear that any future decision would depend on what excites him as a fighter, not what creates headlines or past storylines with Conor. His stance signals a selective comeback approach. Move on to another news. Khamzat Chimaev and Dillon. DANIS are set to compete in a wrestling match at RF10 on June 13th. The same card will also feature Arman versus Tony Ferguson. This will mark Khamzat's debut for Real American Freestyle, while Dillon is coming off a loss to Kobe Covington in his most recent appearance. Dillon posted this on X after the news broke, a photo of Khamzat pulling guard in the fight against Sean Strickland. It says, "I kill everybody." Dillon added, Khamzat, Dana White has sent a letter to Donald Trump asking for help reversing the 90% decision. The announcement has quickly gained attention across combat sports fans and wrestling communities as both names continue to bring high intensity and controversy to any event they are attached to. The matchup is being viewed as a major spectacle with expectations of aggressive exchanges and strong competitive energy from both sides inside the freestyle format. Supporters of Khamzat believe his physical dominance and grappling control could play a key role, while supporters of Dillon highlight his unpredictability and willingness to engage under pressure. The event continues to build momentum as promotional activity increases ahead of the scheduled date, with both athletes expected to draw significant attention worldwide. Meanwhile, the involvement of high-profile figures like Dana White and Donald Trump adds another layer of political and promotional intrigue surrounding the situation. Organizers are expected to continue shaping the card and promotional narrative in the coming days as anticipation builds further. Fans are closely monitoring updates, with discussions spreading rapidly across social media platforms and combat sports forums. Both fighters are entering this announcement with strong public attention, and the clash has already become one of the most talked about matchups in recent weeks. As the date approaches, expectations continue to rise, with fans eager to see how the freestyle wrestling dynamic will unfold between the two competitors. This development adds another chapter to the ongoing crossover between MMA personalities and freestyle wrestling promotions. The situation remains fluid, with further updates expected as official confirmations and promotional details are released. Overall, the announcement has intensified interest in the matchup and set the stage for a highly anticipated confrontation in the freestyle wrestling scene. Further reactions continue to emerge, keeping both names at the center of global combat. Sports discussion heading into the event this week around the world coverage. Move on to another news. Dana White has sent a letter to President Donald Trump demanding a huge change regarding the 90% gambling loss deduction limit affecting U.S. taxpayers. The rule was introduced in 2025 and will take effect from the 2026 tax year, reducing deductions from 100% to 90%. According to reports, Dana White believes the change is directly impacting the UFC, as it may discourage people from participating in legal sports betting. He argues that betting in the United States could become irrational, since bettors might owe taxes even after losses, or face tax bills higher than their winnings. He also says this could hurt Donald Trump's tax policy on tips, because gamblers who win big are likely to tip less under the new structure. Beyond taxation concerns, White warns that the change could negatively affect businesses like the UFC. He explains that the UFC benefits from a strong legal betting market, which drives fan engagement, broadcast value, and sponsorship growth. According to him, discouraging legal betting could weaken the ecosystem built with state regulators and licensed operators over many years. He also claims it may reduce transparency and integrity protections in professional sports betting markets. White says fixing the deduction issue would show that the United States supports common sense regulation. He ends by stating that this is an opportunity for leadership, emphasizing support for fighters, fans, and American businesses. The letter has sparked widespread discussion across combat sports and betting communities, with many analyzing its potential economic and regulatory impact. Supporters of the UFC argue that a healthy legal betting system is essential for fan engagement and media growth. Critics, however, say the policy could be unfair to taxpayers and create confusion in gambling taxation rules. Industry observers are now waiting to see whether lawmakers or the administration will respond to the proposal. For now, the issue remains under review, but it has already become a major talking point in sports business circles. Overall, the discussion highlights the growing intersection between sports regulation, taxation policy, and the expanding legal betting industry in the United States. It also reflects how influential figures in combat sports are increasingly engaging with political and economic issues that extend far beyond the octagon. As discussions continue, the outcome could shape future betting regulations and UFC business strategies across major markets over the coming months ahead, globally in review. Move on to another news. The situation between Ariel Helwani and Sean Strickland has officially escalated into a full-blown BEF. It all started after Ariel criticized Sean for his heavy trash talk directed at Khamzat Chimaev leading into UFC 328, only for Sean to later hug him after the fight and claim the entire buildup was just to sell the matchup. Ariel called the behavior fraud and cowardly, which immediately triggered a strong backlash. Sean Strickland fired back, calling Ariel a leech and saying he never respected him. He also referenced a moment where Ariel allegedly thanked him for standing up during the Israel and 7th attack situation, saying his views changed dramatically over time. Sean doubled down, saying Ariel is a weak man and that he would continue to avoid him, refusing to entertain his criticism. The tension grew further when Ariel responded on his show with a fake apology. He initially said he went too far, admitted emotions got the best of him, and mocked the idea of apologizing, before quickly reversing and saying he stands by everything he said. He insisted that when it comes to character, religion, and family, he will not back down, and that he believes Sean misled fans by claiming everything was just promotion. Nina Drama then entered the situation, defending Sean Strickland. She argued that Ariel spent the entire fight week criticizing Sean, only to mock him when he showed accountability afterward. She said being a man also means owning mistakes, and praised Sean for apologizing on a world stage. She added that in a time of global tension, especially involving Israel and Palestine, people should value unity rather than division, pointing out that both fighters showed mutual respect after their fight. Ali Abdelaziz also weighed in strongly against Ariel. He called it crazy for him to label a UFC champion a coward, arguing that journalists who have never stepped into a cage should not judge fighters who risk everything. He defended Khamzat Chimaev, Islam Makhachev, and others, saying Ariel often targets fighters unfairly. Ali added that when Sean apologized, it was his choice, and that grown men should be allowed to handle their own decisions. Sean later responded to Ali, saying they are finally seeing eye to eye after the situation. Meanwhile, fighters like Marvin Vettori and Henry Cejudo also chimed in, attacking Ariel with harsh insults and defending Sean and Ali's stance. Vettori accused Ariel of spreading negativity for attention, while Cejudo used aggressive language to criticize him directly. The entire situation has now turned into a major online war of words involving journalists, fighters, and managers, with both sides standing firm and refusing to back down as tensions continue to rise across the MMA world. Move on to another news. Sean Strickland has reportedly suffered multiple injuries following his recent fight, where he defeated Khamzat Chimaev and became a two-time UFC middleweight champion. After the victory, Strickland revealed that he is now dealing with serious physical setbacks that could keep him out of competition for a significant period of time. He posted a detailed update on X, where he listed the extent of his injuries. He wrote, Type 2, AC separation, extended Type 5 slap tear, and partial rotator cuff tearing and tendinosis. He added that he is going to have to walk this one off, suggesting the damage may be something he will try to recover from gradually. According to medical expectations, these kinds of shoulder injuries are considered severe, especially when multiple conditions occur at the same time. An AC separation combined with a slap tear and rotator cuff damage can significantly limit mobility, strength, and training ability. In many cases, such injuries may require surgery depending on severity and recovery response. If surgery becomes necessary, Strickland could be sidelined for an extended period, potentially missing major future matchups. Even without surgery, recovery from layered shoulder damage typically involves long rehabilitation, physical therapy, and restricted training, meaning his return timeline remains uncertain. This raises concerns about his ability to defend or pursue another title shot in the near future. Meanwhile, Khamzat Chimaev also posted a video on his Instagram story addressing recent events and explaining his behavior and interactions following the fight. In the video, he spoke about why he appeared friendly in certain moments, giving fans insight into his mindset after the intense matchup. His comments added another layer to the post-fight narrative between both fighters as fans continued to debate the rivalry and its aftermath. The situation has sparked widespread discussion across the MMA community, with many questioning how long Strickland will be out and what impact these injuries could have on his championship status. Analysts believe the combination of injuries is not minor and could significantly affect his career momentum if recovery does not go smoothly. For now, attention shifts toward his medical evaluation and recovery process as fans await further updates on whether surgery will be required or if rehabilitation alone will be enough to bring him back into fighting shape. The aftermath of the fight continues to generate headlines, keeping both Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev at the center of global MMA conversation as developments unfold. Move on to another news. Khamzat Chimaev has spoken about the post-fight apology situation involving Sean Strickland, addressing why things unfolded peacefully after their matchup at UFC 328 instead of turning into chaos as many fans expected. Many people believed the fight would end in tension, regardless of the outcome, especially given the intense build-up. However, after the bout, Sean Strickland stated that all the trash talk leading into the fight was simply to promote the event, and that he does not actually hate Khamzat or his religion. He even referred to him as a good guy, which surprised a large portion of the fan base. Now, just days after his loss, Khamzat released a video on social media explaining his perspective on what happened inside and outside the cage. He spoke about why he shook Sean's hand after the fight and why he placed the belt on him, a gesture that sparked mixed reactions online. Khamzat said, "May Allah be pleased with everyone who supported us and stood by us." He added that many people were concerned after the fight, but they will not give up and will continue to come back stronger. He emphasized that the motivation is still there, and the goal of becoming champion has not changed. He stated they will keep training and keep winning again if it is Allah's will. Addressing the post-fight moment directly, Khamzat explained that people questioned why he showed respect to Sean after the contest. He said that when they fight inside the cage, and once it is over, it is over. According to him, what happens in the fight is decided by Allah and is no longer in their control once the result is finalized. He further explained that Sean lowered his head and asked for forgiveness after the fight. Khamzat said that if a person sincerely asks for forgiveness, he has no reason not to forgive them. He added that he does not see himself as an oppressor, and therefore has no intention of refusing forgiveness when it is genuinely offered. The comments have sparked widespread discussion across the MMA community, with fans debating whether post-fight respect should override pre-fight tension. Many have praised Khamzat's calm and respectful approach, while others continue to question the contrast between the intense build-up and the peaceful ending. The situation continues to circulate online as both fighters move forward from one of the most talked about matchups of UFC 328 move on to another news. Belal Muhammad has called out Sean Strickland in a heated reaction following the outcome of the fight involving Khamzat Chimaev, claiming that Khamzat actually won the bout 3 rounds to 2. He also criticized Strickland heavily, referring to him as a clown and expressing frustration over his post-fight comments. Belal opened up about what he described as a disappointing week, reacting emotionally to the result and questioning how things unfolded. He said his fighter Khamzat did not look like himself in the cage, suggesting something was off during the performance. He mentioned that by the second round, he noticed a shift in momentum and began to suspect that something was wrong. He speculated that the issues could have come from multiple factors, including weight cutting, muscle mass changes, or even conditioning adjustments, especially if Khamzat had been considering moving up in weight. He acknowledged that many different explanations were being discussed, but emphasized uncertainty around the actual cause. Bilal also noted that despite criticism directed at Khamzat, credit should still be given to Sean Strickland for his performance. He pointed out that Strickland's jab work was consistent and that he defended several takedowns effectively. However, he argued that Khamzat delivered more damaging strikes overall, including significant shots that broke Strickland's nose. He added that Strickland also showed visible damage, including swelling and facial injuries, suggesting a closely contested and physically demanding fight. Bilal expressed the opinion that judging may have been influenced by expectations that Khamzat needed to rely on grappling to win, which could have affected the scoring. Despite the result, Bilal believes Khamzat has the right mentality and strong people around him and expects him to come back even better in future performances. He said he is looking forward to Khamzat's next interview and how he will respond publicly after the fight. However, Bilal became more critical when addressing Sean Strickland's post-fight behavior and apology. He dismissed the idea that the trash talk was just promotion, arguing that once religion and personal boundaries are involved, it goes beyond fight hype. He said Strickland often shifts his tone after fights, first saying controversial things and then later trying to soften his stance. Bilal ended his remarks by saying he hopes to one day step inside the cage with Strickland and settle things directly. He made it clear that the rivalry has not cooled down for him and that he would welcome the opportunity to face him in competition, intensifying the ongoing tension surrounding both fighters in the MMA world.